Sumaya Valley, architect and co-founder of the all-female run experimental architecture and research firm Counterspace in South Africa.
You were announced in your studio as the youngest firm to be commissioned to design the Serpentine Pavilion in London.
The stories, the voices, the recipes, it all really goes into these incredible atmospheres and tones that you're generated and that I know are so within you and within the culture of Johannesburg.
Your studio made headlines.
For us, it was really important that this pavilion is making a claim about what the future of the city can be and can look like. And it was really important for me to approach sustainability, of course, in terms of the environment is a very important aspect. But it was also really important to understand the deeper and longer project of sustainability and to understand that it touches so many aspects of our lives. It was really, really important that the pavilion does reach as many voices as we're able to. I think that including all of these things, the temporal, the atmospheric, the choreograph, looking in other places and looking at other ways of being and including those in our work is really important.
Counterspace is committed to developing design expression, particularly for the African continent.
But it seems like every time you're doing something, you're putting stuff out there and you're trying to build something.
It is something that I'm very passionate about, to talk about breaking down boundaries and silos in how we practice, but also in how we define things.
I read a letter at the Architectural Review that Sumaya wrote to herself, and she described in her words that architecture is waiting to happen in places that are often overlooked. She writes in particular, "Dear Sumaya, you will soon fall in love with gold, kitsch, supernatural ideas, with very strange and everyday things, the performance of a ritual gathering at a patch of veld grass of a traffic island next to a highway. Don't listen to anyone who tells you that everything you can ever imagine has already been done. They are incorrect."
I often look to these artists who expand definitions of architecture. I find much inspiration in the sense of place that their works embody through atmosphere, performance, choreography. In Noguchi's landscapes, there is a search for the soul of a place, and in the Queen's work, there is an atmospheric and architectural framing of so many aspects of the human condition.
Around the notion of land, we have, among others, Yasmin Lari in conversation with Counterspace's Sumaya Valley on barefoot architecture.
Walking barefoot also helps one to respect the soil on which we tread.
We had the opportunity to go through the stories and the memories and the knowledge of those who looked at the soil as a site of trouble, as a site of ecological belonging, as a site of mourning, regeneration, death, and decay.
Sumaya will illustrate, in her words, how architecture is a condensation and an overlaying of times, stories, feels, excerpts, archaeologies, and forensic samplings. Practice, research, and pedagogy presents us with platforms to think through and respond to the connections between history, forces of labor, race and class struggles, capitalism, toxicity, and climate change. This type of constellation of ideas, events, places is also highlighted in the design of the famous proposal for the Serpentine Pavilion. The collection of events, actions, and fragments she describes as found dispersed in the City of London and transferred back to Kensington Gardens as imprints of places, spaces, and artifacts which have made care and sustenance part of London's identity.
This fight that we have to fight, bringing a perspective of difference into the world. I do the most with what I can in every project and in every project context. I also believe in listening deeply to place, and this place is really fraught and full of challenges and full of inspirations. But there is also something of a hustle in the city. This idea of act and of action and of atmosphere is really important. It is absolutely at the heart of the inspiration for every project.